You might have noticed that a popular movie trend has made its way to its little brother recently. The reboot shitstorm has found its way into our homes, and sure, some ideas could benefit from an expansion, or lend themselves well to the format, or about the same level of a low-budget TV time pillar to begin with. But nothing screams desperate as taking a simple idea, one that was hardly original to begin with, and strapping a recognizable title on it just so people might view it out of nostalgia's sake. But that's where CBS come in. Know them as a production company with a fetish for the serialized cop drama, and the letters behind the third best Sherlock-related adaptation in recent years, triggered by the massive success of NCIS, who still regularly tops the most viewed charts, becoming such a massive staple of pop culture that CBS have been trying to recreate that magic for the last 10 years, despite the original not being any good for about 7 of those. Clearly deciding that inspiration would better saved for elsewhere, with TV reboots proving a bit unpredictable, this new trend must have seemed like godsend. Before talking about the revisited version, let's take a trip down memory lane. When Denzel Washington decided to shed his heroic everyman persona for roles corrupt cop in Training Day, delivering such an on-point portrayal of an asshole, he walked away with the Academy Award for Best Actor. His partner in crime, Ethan Hawke, got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. The storyline is pretty simple. Hawke's Jake Hoyt is in line to get promoted, but he needs to prove his might on one last training day with Denzel Washington's Alonzo Harris. Well, as day rolls by, Jake realizes that this decorated narcotics undercover detective might not be on an up and up. Despite going to some pretty insane places, it does manage to feel grounded throughout, and it also has one of the best poker games ever put on film. And as the title suggests, it takes place within one day. And this segues nicely into my first obvious issue with the show. It's called Training Day, not Training Years. Is the show going to take the 24 approach and just be all in one day? It wouldn't be easy to do, but it would be ambitious. But maybe I'm jumping the gun. For hell, for all I know, Training Day might just be about perfect. Okay, I see what you did here, CBS. This is, or at least it seems to be shaping up to be, a reversal of the movie that inspired it. Training Day centers around Kyle Craig, an idealistic rookie hero cop who is tasked to go undercover as a trainee with corrupt officer Frank Rourke. As he spends more time with Frank, he realizes that there's more to him than just being a bad egg. Obviously, we are talking about the first 3 episodes only here. Frank might prove to be just as big of an asswipe as Alonso was. So it's good in theory work, but this also brings up the biggest problem with calling it Training Day. It's a very superficial connection to the movie that inspired it. In terms of tone, it's not even close. While the modern masterpiece was not only pretty but incredibly intense, CBS are about as PG as they come. While Denzel Washington convincingly stepped in the shoes of the corrupt Alonso, managed to be entertaining, human, and also borderline terrifying at the same time, his obvious replacement, Bill Paxton, feels about as dangerous as Michael Jackson in the 80s. And he's not helped by the goofy dialogue, and since the CBS were talking about the lack of any violence or swear words makes this world very hard to buy into. I mean, for fuck's sakes, the first episode has Kyle carrying goddamn baby as jumps through a window as a house explodes. And despite being presented as a morally strong character, it takes all of 2 episodes for Kyle to be swayed by that Paxton charm. And shocker, it's not set in one day, which I understand it makes sense, but they could have called it Training Days. People do understand the difference between singular and plural CBS. But a TV show is more than just the leads, and Paxton has a ragtag team of badass henchmen who seem to spend their time in between episodes having brunch with Abby and Garcia. And obviously a pet monkey, because there's never a reason not to have a pet monkey, is there? This group of NCIS Los Angeles secondary character rejects one of the main flaws with the show. It's hard to feel anything for Kyle's safety. Nothing feels authentic, and if you are going to piggyback off one of the best real cop dramas in recent memory, you have to at least try. There are additional plot threads as well, like Kyle investigating his dad's death, who used to be Frank's partner, and a beef between Frank and the deputy chief who assigned Kyle to investigate him. Kyle is also a veteran who suffers from PTSD, but that cool version that shows up occasionally to help him solve a case. It's taken a very case of the week approach so far, and honestly, it's been very uninteresting just dealing in drug wars and gang wars and just typical stuff that you're used to seeing on most of CBS shows. There is nothing to distinguish Training Day besides calling it Training Day. So the best way to describe Training Day so far is unoriginal, uninspired, tired, very lackluster, and not particularly well acted. Let's try to end with a bit of a positive note. There must be something good about this. Well, it's shot well enough, to be perfectly honest, other than the first episode looking like someone dropped a liter of piss over the film. Marianne Jean Baptiste is good as the deputy chief, since that's such a stretch for her. And I don't know what else. The poster's pretty nice. I mean, look at that beauty. Clearly one of a kind. The most annoying part of Training Day is that fun could be had here. Paxton, despite being as threatening as a Cocker Spaniel's tail, does bring a goofy charm to the show, but you can't help compare it to the original Training Day. And considering CBS decided to make that connection, I think it's only fair that they are lambasted when it's not up to scratch. Final thoughts. This is at best a sterilized version of the original film. Even compared to other mainstream cop procedurals, it falls kind of flat. If you're a fan of the film, there's no reason to watch it because it hardly has anything to do with it. If you want something of the same ilk, I would recommend just watching or rewatching The Shield.